All right, coming up in July, we have Adventure Drives Italy. There's a couple of spots left. It's limited to 30 cars, so if you want a piece of this, now's the time. There's a link below in the description. It's going to start and end in Rome. You can either rent a car or you can ship your own car over there if you'd prefer to do that. Highlights include all the attractions in Rome, obviously. Then you have the Lamborghini factory, the Ferrari factory, Tuscany. You got Pagani over there. We're going to Venice. We're going all the way over to Stelvio Pass. We're driving the Dolomites, Lake Como, and coming down through Cinque Terre. It's going to be a great trip. If you want to check it out, click the link in the description for adventuredrives.com and sign up today. So you may notice a little bit of blank space behind me. Well, that's good. That means the season's starting to pick up. I've got about 4 cars that haven't been rented this weekend, a couple more going out later today. It is Friday, and you may notice I haven't been making a lot of videos because I've been busy doing other stuff. There's a little backlog of videos coming, but I did want to also circle back to my SF90. Now, I've had the SF90 on order. I ordered it, came in a little sooner, and I'm not going to end up buying it. I did not purchase it. And now this is going to be history for YouTube car people. I didn't buy it because I can't afford it. Now, objectively, I could afford it if I needed to. It just wasn't enough of a car that I had to sort of shuffle around assets to then purchase. Now, if I didn't have the F8 Spider still for sale, then I probably would have been able to stomach it. But what does it cost to have an SF90, and why can't I afford it? Because I definitely still make money. I just couldn't afford to swing that with the big mystery expenses that I'm dealing with right now, which are legal fees. Now, I've got 2 or 3 active cases where I am a plaintiff, which means I am trying to right wrongs that have been done to me. So if somebody owes me a couple $100,000, you have to go after them, right? You have to go and sue. And unfortunately, that process sucks. Even suing the Ferrari dealer down in Florida, like that costs money. Now I've got 3 different legal teams working on things at the same time, and each one of them will just throw me a bill every month for $10,000, $5,000, $15,000. I've had bills up to $30,000 in a given month. Now add these all up, and to try to manage cash flow, well, I've got an extra $15,000 to $40,000 a month in bills. I still have my life. Nobody's got an extra like $15,000 to $40,000 just floating around every month for who knows how long. These things could settle tomorrow. They could settle 2 years from now. I don't know, but I was not in a position to be like, you know what, let me tag on another expense of this SF90. Because if I got the SF90, which like, it would have been $150,000 down, which is like, that's part of buying a car. That's $150,000, whatever it was. I would have had a loan of about $500,000, which comes out to $10,000 a month. So I'm putting $150,000 down and paying another $10,000 a month for an extra car when I have already got all these other cars. It wasn't enough of a car. If it was my dream car, if it was like a Koenigsegg or something like that I really wanted, forget about the dollar values, but if it was something that I've dreamed about my whole life, then yes, I would have shuffled some stuff around. I would have freed up some capital elsewhere. I would have even like tapped into other accounts that I would or otherwise normally not touch to do that. This was not one of those situations. This was like, do I need it? No. Would it be nice? Yes. Could I make a couple of bucks? Could I lose a couple of bucks? I could have a great summer with it. It came in a great time for me to go enjoy it for a bit. Would have made some fun videos, but it just wasn't in the cards. So the SF90 has already been sold by the dealer to somebody else. They gave me like 3 weeks to try to figure out if I could make it work. Ultimately, I couldn't, so that one went bye-bye. Now, I could have turned it into a rental car, but I didn't want to turn it into a rental car because I don't think there is a market for an SF90 because the amount of equity that has to go into that, the return on equity on $600,000, I could go buy other cars, right? I could buy 2 Evo Spiders, even at adjusted markups for one SF90. So now with this SF90, I would have to be charging, just say, it's usually, the rough math is like 1% of the value of the car a day. So it would be like $6,500 a day. I don't think there's a big market. Sure, I get 1 or 2 customers, but there's not a big market at $6,500 a day for a car. And it doesn't fit in the rental world. Didn't fit in my garage as far as laying out another $150,000 plus $10,000 a month, even for 6 months. So just say I bought that car, kept it for 6 months, so Ferrari was happy. I didn't like flip it. Right now they're selling for $75,000 over, so I could have easily like bought it for 6 months and then sold it. And even if the market stayed where it is and I made $75,000 over, I've got the interest expense on the $500,000. That's 30 grand. And then I've got to give the commission to the dealer that sells it. So just say it's 6%, 6% on $700,000, 50. It would end up costing me $20,000. Now that's if the car still sold for $75,000 over MSRP. If I sold it for MSRP, I'm out $70,000 for having a car for 6 months. Would I rent it for 6 months for $70,000? No. So the math didn't make sense. I walked away from that car, and like I did it in a way, like I don't think Ferrari's ever upset when you get something and you can't afford it or you can't take delivery, and then they can go sell it to somebody else. If you order something like a Michael Fuchs special where you order a purple on purple on purple Rolls Royce, and then you don't take it and the dealership is stuck with it, and it's a spec that's unsellable, that's a different story. In this situation, it was a very well-spec'd car. It was a very nice car, and I'm sure the new owner who's already enjoying it is probably having a great time with it. But that will not be me. So no SF90 for me. I don't think there's going to be an SF90 in my future. It would have been cool because getting that SF90 would have gotten you the opportunity to get the SF90 GT. There's like a new like limited edition SF90 that you would have to own a previous SF90 to be qualified to get. That would have been probably a pretty big opportunity for me. But until I get all this legal stuff sorted out, and let me just tell you, I don't like lawyers. Like even my own lawyers, like as human beings, okay, but as a profession, it sucks. I've got cases that I haven't done anything with where I've gotten screwed out of $300,000 and like clear cut, like embezzlement. And my lawyer's like, yeah, but like if they fight it, it could cost you $300,000 to get your $300,000, and then I get your $300,000 and you still have nothing. And I'm like, why is that? Like, why is it so expensive? What do you do when somebody screws you out of $50,000? Nothing. It's not worth suing them. And the lawyer's not going to work it on contingency because what are they going to get? 10 grand? The only way that works is if it settles out with a letter. Anything beyond a letter isn't worth it. It's just a very frustrating position to be in where the amount of money that has to be involved in order for you to sue has to be so large. Even with Beverly Hills Rent-A-Car, when we had to sue them as Gotham, we sued them, or we went to arbitration with them. We got the arbitration judgment, which is binding for over $1 million, but then they just shut the door. So now I didn't get my $1 million+ dollars, and on top of that, I had to write off the $150,000 in arbitration fees and lawyer expenses. So it all sucks. Rob Ferretti saying it's because of lawyers that I don't have an SF90, because if I was able to predict my cash flow, I could stomach that. If I don't know what my cash flow is, they're not even giving me numbers. I just get like these surprise bills and they're like, all right, pay me now. It's not like, all right, we've racked up $50,000 this year, or your legal case is going to be $100,000, so let's do $10,000 a month for 10 months. I can figure that out. Like, that's easy. But if you just say like, there was more work this month, here's a $30,000 bill, I don't have a choice. I can't, hey, can you do anything about that bill? Can you chop it down a little bit because I already gave you 60 grand or 80 grand or 100 grand? It doesn't work like that. Lawyers make life difficult. Lawyers make Rob not have an SF90. And now I have room here for something else. But good news is I did buy a different car from the same dealership. I didn't pick it up yet, but it's going to show up on screen next week when I go pick it up. But it is a different car. It does have a story. It's going to be a good one. Rob Ferretti, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Can you guess what it is? I know.